Mill Self-Defense Podcast Q&A. How would I, as someone scared of my own shadow that has never fought anyone, get over my fears and be able to defend myself? This is a common question and is quite complex and requires specific development of inner resolve and mental toughness, specifically to deal with physical violence, including threats and violent assaults. Realizing that you need to upskill and be empowered in your capabilities to overcome your fears of threats and physical assault is an important starting point, as many people simply convince themselves that they are okay and could look after themselves under such threats when they have no real previous experience and really do not know how to or how they would react under threat, often through age, lack of physical capability, medical conditions, including handicaps, the requirement for training in how to effectively neutralize threats of violence requires specific capabilities, beginning with anti-violence capabilities to reduce the chances of falling victim to violent threats or assault. In the event of being unable to avoid or prevent a violent threat or assault, the skills need to be simple, gross motor capabilities that provide the highest levels of likelihood of being able to overcome threats from formidable foes. Being an underdog facing an overdog aggressor requires tactics and skills that are based on deception, dirty or foul tricks, and a high level of conviction and mental toughness. Anti-violence threat tactics and skills include having an awareness of places and people to avoid, including the difference between some areas in the light of day and after dark. Being well versed in tactics and skills to hard target protect oneself is a very important part of reducing the likelihood of being assaulted, and if under assault, reduce the threat level and risks to the lowest level individually possible. Taking a good look at your personal protective status at home, at work, out in the community, socially, recreationally, and avoiding danger areas and making yourself as safe by being around the general population and not isolated, especially in the hours of darkness, is very important to reduce the likelihood of being threatened or assaulted. Utilizing layers of security to reduce risk, as in your residence having good sensor security lighting, alarms, good doors, gates, and locks is very important. Looking through the eyes of your security status and situation through the bad guy's eyes, identifying any weaknesses or holes in your security plan and plugging them is most important. Asking yourself how you would possibly invade your property and how best to prevent you being able to do that by taking a bad guy's visual perspective will identify measures to be taken. Understanding about using public transport and where to sit and who to sit beside and how to get help or raise the alarm under threat are tactics that should be well versed. It is important that you do not become paranoid to everything and everyone around you to the point of thinking you are being followed or surveilled when you may well not be. Employing simple surveillance detection pedestrian skills will identify if in fact you are being targeted. You must understand there are some types of people that you do not want to connect yourself with, even simply by passing niceties could set a chain reaction in which you are perceived as a soft and easy target. Whether you like it or not, you have to be careful who you talk to, and certainly don't eyeball anyone unless you have been confronted and need to be ready to defend yourself. Maintain a grey discreet status if you detect someone or a group that could be a threat to your safety. Use your peripheral vision and calmly and confidently extract yourself from the area and environment. Move confidently like this is your neighborhood or area and you feel comfortable and confident going about your business. Don't show any signs of fear or weakness, and certainly don't make any rash movements that could bring attention to yourself. Always move away from threat, risk, and danger areas towards the safety of inhabited areas where you know there are people or places you can go to get assistance. And if required, as soon as you have put distance between yourself and the threat, raise the alarm. There are some important fundamentals in regard to controlling, reducing, or eliminating the effects of facing violence, and they begin with controlled respiration, low intensity, cycled respiration, inhaling via the nose and exhaling via the mouth to reduce the effects of hormonal dumping. Turn on all your senses and actively scan your environment to avoid not only the violent threat, but also hazards or obstacles that could increase the risk or danger. Make yourself as safe as humanly possible by putting distance between yourself and the assaulter and using barriers or angles to not only create and keep distance between you and the threat, but also make it difficult for the assaulter to get direct line contact with you. Be aware of terrain features that could increase your safety, like escape routes or solid backdrops if you need to protect your rear flanks. Based on your prior physical self-defense training, undertake a threat and situational assessment. I use the acronym AID: assess, decide, execute your counter options to protect yourself. Remember, this is not about sport or art. This is about gross motor skills, simple means of incapacitating your assaulter. The higher the stress level, the lower the skill level, the lesser the response time. So simple and proven is what is required. Your assessment and decision making should include maximizing your personal safety prior to and during any assault. You basically have three options: attack your attacker before they can attack you, counterattack if your attacker attacks you, and if you are physically capable and able to, escape and evasion to where you can, remove yourself from the immediate threat and get assistance. Escape and evasion is best initiated discreetly, covertly, by moving as if you do not have a care in the world and you do not recognize the individual as a threat to you. Escape and evasion, once you have been confronted, requires considerably more physical capability, and if you are not running fit, then is probably not an effective option. Being well versed in combat actions, as in attacking your attacker before they can attack you, does stand to give you the first chance of threat neutralization, incapacitation. However, it does require intestinal fortitude and control of your emotions and fears to enable you to close on the assaulter in the process of incapacitating them. Some people are more defensive by nature and would prefer to defend themselves, but really it should be counter-engagement, not a defensive mentality taken. If counter-engagement is your best option, you need to utilize controlling range and angle. Putting barriers or obstacles between you and your assaulter can slow down their movement and make evasive counter-engagement or evasion and escape more guaranteed. Under threat prior to any assault, remind yourself that you will do everything in your power to overcome the threat and keep yourself safe. I use the acronym WAR, willing, able, ready, silently in my mind's eye, repeating it. You need to continuously adjust to any changes in threat. May need to control distance by edging back or away from the threat to your side flanks. All self-defense tactics and skills require definite, deliberate, calculated, confident movements, no panic or rush, and you must synchronize your self-defense respiration with every action taken. On the ready, set, go, inhale, and on the execution of your self-defense skill, exhale, and continue to do this with every action, no matter how minor or major, to control your levels of physicality reserves. The self-defense respiration should be synchronized with your ready, set, go, squat, crouch, kickoff of your combat or counter action. You must be prepared to do what may be the unthinkable to you, as in causing harm to another human being in order to incapacitate them, enable you to escape, evade, and get assistance. You need to make sure the training you seek and undertake is from a specialist in the field of urban or domestic violence, self-protection, threat neutralization, including the psychological conditioning for overcoming the effects of fear and stress, and the employment of a combination of self-defense specific mental toughness enhancement and proven best of dirty tricks brigade skills to incapacitate your assaulter. This training must include contingency options to deal with changes in threat and situation at real time so as not to allow these changes to off-put you or overcome you to the point of being unable to protect yourself and incapacitate your assaulter. The primary option of maintaining your footing is very important, as the urban jungle is uncompromising, and being decentralized or coming in contact with protrusions or hard surfaces could render you incapable of protecting yourself and incapacitating your assaulter. For every rule, there is a contradiction, and under counter-abduction, getting down safely and effectively on the ground and making yourself a hard target to seize, secure, lift or move would be a priority. A highly trained, highly qualified MIL self-defense instructor will be able to tell you and advise you on how to use your environment and improvised objects as best means of achieving threat neutralization. Sometimes it comes down to a very small, hardened or sharp object being your best means of incapacitating a violent assaulter trying to cause you serious bodily harm. Do your utmost to maintain a grey status. Give nothing away. Do not compromise yourself by getting upset, argumentative, angry. Try your utmost to remain silent, alert, continuously looking, listening, hard targeting yourself, and maintaining a ready status should you need to engage or counter-engage your aggressor. Know your physical capabilities and your level of mental toughness, and ensure that you do your utmost to upskill and enhance your inner resolve and mental toughness. Be prepared to use every tactic, dirty, foul means of protecting yourself and incapacitating your aggressor. Target only your aggressor's sensitive human senses and life support systems, or closest, most available targets that will incapacitate them, like stamp kicking their lower leg below the knee joint to damage their knee joint or kneecap ligaments, decentralizing them and taking away their mobility and capabilities to attack you. You may need to use deception, distractions, cunning, anything at your disposal to provide an edge or advantage to effectively incapacitate your assaulter. Seek out the best instructor and instruction in skills that enable even the underdog under overdog violent threat to be able to incapacitate their aggressor. Plan, prepare and practice for anti-assault preventative means and measures, as well as combat and counter actions, incapacitation, threat neutralization. Hone your combination or combining of your mental toughness enhancement for overcoming the effects of violent threats and your physical self-defense skills capabilities, getting them as fluid as possible. It is important that you understand that self-defense or unarmed combat fitness is considerably different to running type fitness, and you must synchronize your respiration with every output action to ensure you maintain reserve capabilities if the assault takes longer than the desired several seconds. You must never give in and must be prepared to do things that in everyday life could be deemed unhuman. Effective decision-making comes down to overcoming the effects of physical violence threats by control measures and being able to take advantage of every weakness in your aggressor and not stop until you have incapacitated them and or escaped and evaded the assault. In conclusion, through effective anti-encounter tactics and skills, by ensuring your security, safety and self-protection plan reduces the chances of falling victim to violent assault, or by best of dirty tricks brigade, foul means and methods, arming yourself with skills that provide the capability to incapacitate a violent aggressor, make sure you are willing, able, ready, and will never give in to the bad guys or give up under threat.